make an intro for this video at first, so I added this on to the end. Enjoy! Okay, so I'm making another sit-down video, so that's something. And I want to talk about something that is very close to me personally, and that is social anxiety. Now, for the past 2 or 3 months, my social anxiety hasn't been here. From what I've read and researched and whatnot, it can come in waves. So for a while, it can, you know, disrupt your entire life, and then it can go away. And before that, I had social anxiety for as long as I can remember. Maybe I remember I didn't have it much in the 3rd grade, and then I felt a whole lot of pressure to be somebody I wasn't. I felt a whole lot of pressure to conform and be more girly, and so in retrospect to that, I became more girly, and I have plenty of pictures, and I might insert some, where I wouldn't wear jeans because, I know this sounds insane because it started like in the 4th grade. I would never wear jeans because I didn't want like the bunch of jeans when you're sitting to look like I had a penis. I was in the 4th grade and I was scared of these things, and it was because I always hung out with guys. And in the 3rd grade, a girl, who I know who it is, but she told me I needed to come and play fashion games with them instead of hanging out with the guys all the time. And, you know, back then I wasn't socially conscious of who I was, so I remember doing all these weird things, and the only girly thing I did was I constantly had a purse with me. And aside from that, I don't remember doing anything girly. So in the 4th grade, I started wearing pink sweatsuits, like how all those girls did in the early 2000s. Those Gucci suits, whatever. Mine wasn't Gucci, but I wore those pink suits and tried to make myself as girly as possible and tried to reinvent myself, and it sucked. And it wasn't until I was about 12, so I was in the 7th grade, where I didn't care as much. Which in the 7th grade, there was also a moment where I did care, because for my school picture, I wore makeup, and I don't even wear makeup, like, to this day. Not really. I have makeup, but I wear it for special occasions, and it's definitely not to make myself look better. It's for, I guess, for whatever I'm wearing. Now, so ever since then, about in the 7th grade, I started, maybe even the 6th grade, in the 6th grade, I, started watching Dragon Ball, and and at first, it was one of those things where at first I didn't want to show my family that I was interested in it, because at the time my stepdad was watching it, so I just would watch it, and I always enjoyed wrestling, and, but they would play it off as the guys were hot, but I really enjoyed it, and I really thought it was really cool. But like, school life and stuff like that, I would force myself to be girlier, and, that pretty much ended by the 7th grade, I'm pretty sure, where, you know, still I would randomly show up in a dress sometimes, but that was more high school, and I was more 10th grade, because in the 10th grade, I, stopped wearing clothes that were far too big for me, because they're in the 9th grade, and I wish I had footage, because on my own phone, I used to do skits, and some of them never made it to YouTube, unfortunately, but, I would wear just clothes and sweatpants. I went back to sweatpants, but they weren't, like, all pink. Clothes and sweatpants that were just way too big for me, because I was so self-conscious of my body and what I looked like. I'm pretty much the opposite now. If I can, show you guys, these are the shorts I was wearing yesterday, and I just do not care what anybody thinks of my body size or whatever, because it's mine, and I'm gonna wear shorts if I want to, is kind of how I'm looking at it, because I'm not gonna make myself uncomfortable because someone doesn't want me wearing, someone doesn't think my body size should wear shorts. I do still have those self-conscious moments about my body, but we're talking more about social anxiety here. So, my body and body dysmorphia definitely made my social anxiety go up, because I had, at one point in high school, an eating disorder, and it was probably one of the worst times of my life, because, I have been a vegetarian for about a month now, So it's not very long, and I'm definitely, like, if I ever go vegan, I'm not ready to do that now because I'm just learning how to be a vegetarian and be a good vegetarian. And I haven't broken it at all, and I don't want to. I don't want to go back to eating meat. Except for I really want sushi, and that's upsetting me. But, I mean, I'm sure there's vegetarian sushi, you just can't get it at a supermarket. Because I've seen sushi for the past 2 days at the supermarket, I can't eat it. But, so I didn't eat all day the other day because I didn't have anything to eat, because I didn't pack anything because I didn't think I'd be gone that long. I brought like a bag of chips with me. That was it. And it was one of those small bags of chips that, you know, was gone in like 2 seconds. But so I felt that hunger again that I have not felt since I was in high school. And it hurt. Like, my whole torso hurt because I haven't been that hungry since I was in high school. And like, it took me back to that and how miserable I was when I just, like, everything I ate had to be, I'd never binge eated, but everything I ate had to be vomited. So it was like I just wanted to taste it and have the sensation of eating, but I wouldn't actually get anything from it. And I didn't actually even lose weight or get slimmer until after my eating disorder, after I conquered it. And in a way, I'm really happy of that. I'm really happy there were no results when I was practicing my eating disorder, but because if there had, I may have never stopped it if I, you know, kept getting skinny like some girls do, like with anorexia, and they actually get results and they actually get skinnier. I'm really happy that I was never one of those people that actually got results. However, and, you know, like, part of that comes back now because in the past 9 months or so, I have gained probably about 20 to 30 pounds. And it does mess with me on a core level if I look at pictures of myself from 9 months ago. But, I'm getting used to it and I'm not caring as much. But with my I'm saying but a lot. With my social anxiety, I haven't had it for the past 2-3 months at all. Like, I've been good, except, like, when certain people are around, because I was always socially anxious around them, and I kind of never went away. And I don't know if it ever will. Although yesterday I spoke to one of them and I just did not give a fuck. So maybe it will go away. Maybe, you know, I'm hoping my social anxiety goes away forever. I don't see that completely happening because I'll talk to people that I've never had any social anxiety with because I've met them in the last 3 months. And, like, I was talking to them about my personal life, and, like, I started getting really anxious. And it's something that, like, I never got anxious with before. Like, if I was comfortable enough with you to talk about my personal life and what, like, in my past, I was never socially anxious while talking to you. So it was very confusing to talk about, you know, because most people would be like, if you're talking about something personal to you, that would be when you got anxious. But for me, it was like the opposite. I would never get anxious if I was actually talking to you about that because I was close to you then. But, so that's weirding me out, and I'm afraid it's going to come back. I'm afraid my social anxiety is going to come back, and I'm not going to be able to function as well as I do now because I think my job really hinges on the fact that I can talk to people because I'm in customer service and I talk to people every single day and I've never had an issue talking to them. And I'm afraid to have an issue talking to them. Like, I'm so terrified of my social anxiety coming back and the effect it would have on my job because I don't want to have to leave my job. But if my social anxiety is making it so I literally cannot function, then I would have to. And I don't want to. I enjoy my job currently. I enjoy my coworkers. I don't want to have to find another job. There's only, like, a few things that I hate about my job, which is the fact that I can't have my nose ring in, I can't have dyed hair. My old job, I could wear t-shirts every day and just dress like this, basically. Not like this exactly, because these shorts would probably be too short. These would not be the ones I'd wear to my old job. But, yeah, I was wearing shorts every day and t-shirt and dyed hair, and it was great and wonderful. And, you know, a part of me does miss my dimple piercings, because there's the scar from one and the other one, and I hope these scars stay forever, because that was the point of me getting them, is that they look like dimples, that I give myself fake dimples. They were supposed to be over here. Maybe one day I'll fix that problem. But yeah, I'm just like, and people are like, how have you ever had social anxiety with your appearance? Because, like, in the past 2 years I had dyed hair and piercings and didn't care and wore whatever I wanted to and didn't, you know, it's not so much of, like, I could always after I got out of high school, definitely, maybe a little bit before that, I could always wear, probably in senior year too, I could always wear what I wanted and be who I wanted appearance-wise and didn't care. But before that, I was scared too, but I got over it. Because I'm not afraid of being myself. I'm not afraid of looking a certain way. I'm just afraid of talking to people. And that would be where the problem lies with having social anxiety, getting my social anxiety back and having my job. So I'm really, really hoping it never comes back. But it's a scary thought that it could. Because, you know, past couple days I felt a little bit of anxiety talking to somebody, and I really don't want it to come back. And I think it has been with waves in my life, because I think in the 7th grade when I was becoming more myself and I was playing video games and watching Dragon Ball and, you know, all that stuff, my social anxiety kind of went away. I remember talking to people that, you know, I never would have talked to in the previous years, and not caring. Like, just, like, they asked me a question, I'll just spat it out instead of thinking about it and, like, getting more and more anxious. So I remember in 7th grade, I don't think I was too bad off, because I was starting to really become myself. But then when the weight kept coming, because in the 7th grade is when I got boobs, they went up to, like, in 1 year, they went from nothing to a C cup. The rest of the weight kept coming too, and, you know, I basically weigh now, I think I weigh a little bit less than what I weighed then, but I basically weigh now exactly what I weighed then. It's just better proportioned. And I still have issues with my arms and stuff. I know the camera's not actually making them feel as bad as they are, honestly, because the camera always makes me feel worse. But, you know, I've never been the type to diet or do anything like that. I just live with what I have. I mean, I did diet, technically. I had an eating disorder, but I don't know. I'm more comfortable with who I am now. I wish that I knew what I knew now when I was still in high school. I wish I could be the person I am now when I was in high school and see how all these different things would have played out, which might sound really stupid to some people, that, you know, because I look back and I'm not the person that I wanted to be. Part of that is because, you know, in high school, in my senior year, I cut all my hair off, and my hair's been pretty short since then. And then I shaved this side of my head, and I got this piercing. But I really, really, really wish I could have gotten my septum ring when I was like 16. That would have been wonderful, because I love my septum ring. I think it is the best piercing on me, and I love it so much, and I never want to get rid of it. I will be 90 years old still with a septum ring in. You just wait and see, boy, because it will happen. You know, I'm getting less and less, like, self-conscious in front of the camera, and, like, when people are around, and I can just be me more, and that's really exciting to me, because I've always, like, looked at people like Graveyard Girl, and you look at her older videos, and she's really, like, she's, like, trying to be professional and stuff. Like, go look at her older videos. My favorite older video of hers is the one where she's going through her first ever What's in My Bag tag, where she has galeras in. It makes her eyes look really creepy. She actually cusses in that video, but it's bleeped out. She says shit. But, you know, that's one of my, like, that's how, I think that video is basically about how I found her. So I found her about when she started, just saying. So I've seen her grow over time, and I was, you know, making my own videos, and they weren't that good, but, you know, who cares? This is more for me than anybody else. But I've always wanted to be more open and flamboyant and talkative and stuff in my videos, and I've always been too afraid to, or, like, afraid of the camera, and I don't know why I would be afraid of my own cell phone, but you know, my social anxiety has kept me back into this cage for so long, and the thought of it coming back is really, really frightening, and I don't want it to come back, because I have gotten, like, I'm so much more charismatic now. It sounds horrible, but I am, and I'll admit to that, because there are people that are my friends now that would never have been my friends had I been the person I was a year ago. I feel like I would not have talked to them as much, I would not be as open as I am, and I feel like that's the problem, is that I am really the person, like, I'm being able to outwardly show my personality and be the person that my clothes, you know, for the past 3 years have shown people, and like my Instagram has shown people, but my actual personality hasn't been able to come out to people, because my Instagram, for example, has always been an outlet where I could just spew my internal thoughts and post what I wanted to post and not care who saw it. And you know, and I stopped going on it as much because family and people like that were getting on Instagram, and I was afraid to show my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Amazing to be able to be flamboyant and hyperactive and be the person that my personality has always wanted to be, the person that, you know, inwardly was screaming to come out and not care what other people thought and just be friendly to everybody and talk to everybody and not care. And that's what I've always wanted, and the thought of going back into my turtle shell is horrifying. And I don't want that. You know, I have these friends now that I am just so sure that we would never even talk as much, or I wouldn't be texting them or messaging them or showing them things if I was still the person I was a year ago. And that's scary, because like I'll send them something and I'm like, I really would not have sent that to you a year ago. I really would not be talking to you this much a year ago. I would have tried everything to get out of this conversation because I was so afraid of what somebody else would think. Because I was so afraid of being myself and so afraid of showing the world who I truly was except for what I wore. And I wasn't able to talk and be my personality and be flamboyant and excited and hyperactive because it was always frowned upon. Because in school I would be called crazy and insane, and I would get bullied for who I was. And all I wanted to ever do was be my flamboyant self and be crazy, and it was always just so lashed out against. And everything I did from like 2nd grade to 11th grade, I feel like I wasn't truly ever me, and it sucks. It really sucks, and not feeling confident in who you are as a person and your personality, and being afraid to talk to people that you like today would just tell them to fight you. Like I literally am not afraid to talk to anybody anymore, and it's so insane because like internally I would have to say all these things I would never be able to say to somebody externally. Like I just don't care anymore, and it's wonderful. I literally almost told him to, well, I did tell him, but I don't think he heard me, to fight me, because this dude there was a blockade because we were there at night. And we were going to the arcade area because we're adults. And this dude was like, you're gonna have to go around. And I was like, no, I just thought I was gonna, like, push my cart through there, like, fight me. And I did not care. Like, this dude pissed me off so bad. Because he was just so, like, yeah, I'm dumb enough to think I'm just gonna go straight through this blockade, like, and then, like, me, before now, would be scared to even, like, I'd just be, like, embarrassed and stuff, when there's no reason to be embarrassed, because he's the one who made assumptions about me. Is it because of the way I'm dressed? Do you think I'm just gonna waltz on through like I own the place? Like, no. You should tell by the way that I'm dressed that I've been to Walmart a billion times at night. Like, come on now, I'm a night owl. I know what these blockades mean. I'm not an idiot. And I outwardly show that, like, before, like, 6 months earlier, I made a video about a man in Walmart who was so rude to me, and I cried because I was scared to say anything, and I had an anxiety attack, and, you know, I was so, like, I hate it, because I look back at it, and I'm like, boy, let me fight you. I would have, literally me, probably now, would probably have to be, you know, pulled out, escorted out of Walmart in that situation, because I would not have taken it, because my ankle is still just as bad. Sometimes I wear an ankle brace outside of work. I have one now for outside of work because my ankle has gotten worse. It hurts more than it used to, and that sucks, but it's the way of life. And, you know, in that situation, I'm gonna say I wasn't limping to the pushy thingy in Walmart, but I had just gotten off a 12-hour shift or a 10-hour shift, I can't remember exactly what, but my ankle was killing me, and I didn't want to walk around a Walmart, and I was excited to be able to finally sit down for a hot minute, you know, and not be on my ankle, so I went kind of fast over to it, and he was like, no, you can't do that, blah, 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 and I was like, oh, God, I didn't go, I cried, I cried, and I left, and he's a piece of shit, and I still hate him. I don't care what is wrong. I see his shoes now, and I see that he has these special therapeutic shoes, but it's because he's overweight, so. Like, I hate him so much. I still do, because he's always been so rude to me and thinking, like, every time, he's not a good self-checkout dude. Like, regular checkout dude, fine, go ahead, go be that, but don't be self-checkout. I still don't think he should be self-checkout. I still don't like him. And I will tell him that now. I wouldn't then, but I'll tell him that now. So, just who I am as a person has blossomed beautifully, and I don't want to have to lose the friends that I've created by going back into my shell and not being me. But it's always so scary thinking about social anxiety and thinking, what if one day you just couldn't take it anymore and you went back in your shell and you couldn't be you anymore? And you couldn't be flamboyant, and you couldn't talk to people the way you wanted to. I mean, honestly, throughout my entire life, had I been more outspoken, probably would have gotten into actual fistfights. Just saying. Probably would have had to been escorted from places. Probably would have been expelled from school. Like, let's just say my flamboyant personality wouldn't have stopped me from doing nothing back then. I probably should not think about what would have happened in school, but... I'd be a completely different person today, and I probably wouldn't be in this room right now, in front of my beautiful galaxy wall, in front of my beautiful books, living my beautiful life now, had I been a different person. But it's just an interesting thought to think about, if I could be as flamboyant as I am now. And I hope that all my YouTube videos are with me talking as flamboyantly and as excited as I am now, because that's just who I am. Because in my entire life, because I was so scared of being who I was, like, people, I would tell them I have ADHD, and they'd be like, no, you're just ADD, and I'm like, bitch, you don't know me, you don't know my life, you don't know the struggle of being ADHD, and having social anxiety. It's just constant, like, shaking your chair, basically, is that, because I couldn't do anything else except shake the desk in front of me. I'm sorry for all the people who sat in front of me and had to deal with me getting the hyper out on your desk, because I would, like, furiously shake somebody's desk. I still shake my legs constantly and can't, like, stop moving, and they're like, get a fidget spinner. To me, fidget spinners don't really work for fidgeting, to me, because, I mean, it's, like, a really weird fidget things. I much prefer the fidget cube, just saying. I have a fidget spinner. We have 3 collectively, but they're less about fidgeting and more about just, I don't know, playing with them like a toy. They're more like a toy to me. This is more for fidgeting, and this would have really helped my ADHD in school. So if you've got a kid and fidget spinners are being banned everywhere, just saying, if you've got a kid with ADHD and fidget spinners are being banned everywhere, get them a fidget cube. To me, it's way more helpful. I know, like, other people are like, younger kids would really enjoy the simplicity of a fidget spinner. I'm telling you, if their fidgeting is as bad as mine, get them a fidget cube. A spinner is not gonna cut it. I'm sorry, it's just not. My fidgeting is horrible. I can't use this at work, obviously, because I work with my hands, but when I was having an anxiety attack at work, my old backpack had one of those, like, squeegee balls on it. It's over there, so I'm gonna go get it. My old work bag had this on it, and if I was having an anxiety attack, I would hook it to my, my fanny pack and mess with it like this, and it's wonderful. So this is also, in my opinion, a really good fidgeting thing. I don't know where you can get one now. I got this one from Target, and it is this brand, Yobi. I know it's backwards, but Y-O-O-B-I. Yeah, I said that right. But this is really good for anxiety attacks, in my opinion. This is really good for anxiety attacks. So if your kid is really anxious and if your kid has a lot of anxiety attacks, this is really good, and it makes no noise. And like, because some fidget spinners are really, really loud, and then some of the stuff on this that is really good for me, like my favorite one is the rolling ball, I'm not gonna lie, but these other ones, I mean, this isn't like a real brand one where all the buttons make noise. So get one that, like, is actual good quality, and like some of the buttons are silent, is what I'm saying. Because those are better. especially for quiet stuff, but for me, this works really well, and it's really quiet, and you can just hook it onto their backpack, and the teacher's never going to think of it, and nobody's going to have a whole bunch of these. It's not the 90s anymore. So, there's a tip for you, because this works really well for me, and it feels really nice in your hand, and it's really calming. So, give this a try if you have really bad anxiety, and if you can find one. A koosh ball, I'm pretty sure that's what these are called, or koosh balls. They're from the 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, just some end of the video tips for you. I don't know what I'm going to name this, so I can have like fidgeting, and it'll probably be like fidgeting, ADHD, and mostly social anxiety talk. But yeah. Bye-bye.